to make me stay the play the old one.
20,000 naira. Date Friday,
So that
24th
one,
November 2023. Venue Star House Arena, Wari Avenue by Kenfeli Hotel Junction, Baranawa, Kaduna. To qualify, subscribe to Procyon RTV on YouTube and TikTok. Take a screenshot and send to 080-9799-1989. Star House Arena, Wari Avenue. Enjoyment and relaxation equals entertainment. Star House Arena, in collaboration with Procyon Radio and Television, presents Mega Chopathon. The Mega Chopathon is a eating competition where the winners go home with mouth-watering prizes, including star cash prize of 20,000 naira. Date Friday, 24th November 2023. Venue Star House Arena, Wari Avenue by Kenfeli Hotel Junction, Baranawa, Kaduna. To qualify, subscribe to Procyon RTV on YouTube and TikTok. Take a screenshot and send to 080-9799-1989. Star House Arena, Wari Avenue. Enjoyment and relaxation equals entertainment.
All right, a nice and lovely Tuesday evening right here in from the Procyon Media Center, and it's time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio. That's talking about Ground Zero, the program where we bring up topical issues in the polity, and of course, with guests in-house, and you, the listener, will try our best to bring the very best out of it and give you a better understanding of all of these issues. My name is Ehis Agbon. And on the program today, we will be dealing with some topical issues as it affects Nigeria, and of course, how people would want to react to these headlines. And the first one that we'll be looking at on the program today is one that promises to get you very engaged and involved, because so many people are interested in understanding and being a part of the general discussion. I'm sure it's no longer history now that Nigerians are reacting in various ways to what is coming out of the court after the last general elections. And of course, they are reacting in different ways to all of these issues. And also, it's no longer news too that former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said that the kind of democracy that African countries are practicing, that's the Western form of democracy, may not be the best for Nigeria in the given circumstances. And of course, he is recommending a new form of democracy. What is that new form of democracy? In the course of the program, we will also get to understand what it is. But most importantly, it is necessary for you to keep the dial locked right here on the program Ground Zero, coming to you on Procyon Radio and of course television. You can watch us on all of the channels. Most especially, you can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, if you've already downloaded the Procyon Radio and TV app, you'll be able to also watch us, listen to us, and read about us on ProcyonNews.com. These are all platforms and portals that we've made for you to be able to easily communicate and relate with us right here on Procyon Radio and Television. On the program today, I already have two guests seated. I have Samuel Yohana. He's a public affairs analyst and a commentator. Samuel Yohana, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you, Mr. Heath, and good evening, listeners at home.
I also have with me in the studio the controversial one. He goes by the name Mike Odeh Akatu. He is a journalist. You're welcome to Ground
Thank you,
Zero.
Brother Ehis. Listeners at home, viewers, stay tuned.
All right. And of course, the production team, everybody is set and the show is about to go on. So I want to encourage you all to go to our various social media handles and be part of what we are doing. Start by going to YouTube. Ensure to subscribe to the channel, comment, and also drop whatever thing you want to drop so that we can read it out in the course of the program. And the handle is at Procyon RTV. Procyon is spelled Procyon RTV. And same thing goes for Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, follow the channel, and of course, comment on the content that you see there. And coming back to the studio now. Today on the program, I've already told you we'll be looking at the appeal court issues, and also we'll be looking at the comment from former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and he said Africa should practice a form of democracy that he described as Afro-democracy. The former president spoke just yesterday during a two-day event organized by the African Progress Group, which took place at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Obasanjo said a liberal democracy allows a government by a few people over a large population of people. The former president said the majority of people are kept out of government under liberal democracy. There are so many comments made in respect of this, but it is important to know that the former president said Africa must question the performance of democracy in the West and on the continent of Africa. He added that the continent must look inward and outward to understand how another form of government can be adopted to help Africans. And he went on to say that this is not the first time that generally, this is not the first time that the president is making comments in respect of strengthening democracy, not only in Nigeria or Africa, but generally looking at democracy and the rule of law. That's on one hand. And on the second hand, it's also no longer news that several governors who coincidentally belong to other parties, not the ruling party, have been losing out at the appeal court level. And there's this conspiracy theory now that the APC is working towards having a one-party state, and that already the race for 2027 has started. And the first stage of it is for APC to capture as many states as possible. This is just a conspiracy theory, if you understand what conspiracy theory is. Whether there's substance in it or not, in the course of the program, we'll get to find out. And by adding your voice to this too, to add value to it. Don't forget that Justice Freda Williams Dawodu Sagmofang, for not having been validly sponsored by the People's Democratic Party for the election in Plateau State. And also on Thursday, the appeal court sacked Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State. Also PDP declaring that the governorship election in March was inconclusive. And the following day, just after that, also the same court nullified the election of Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. And all of these court rulings is leading to the sacking of opposition governors have gotten Nigerians talking as they pointed to the APC as the mastermind. So many people have commented, majorly among them we have Senator Shehu Sani, a former senator, wrote, the Court of Appeal judgment against the electoral victory of Plateau State Governor is unfortunate, unacceptable, and condemnable. A broad like haste of the will of the people, the bench is becoming the coffin of democracy. Also, on X, the app that's known as X, formerly known as Twitter, Rapsi said APC can take over all the 36 states if they want. And of course, Authentic Malam is also saying that it is natural to question court rulings. I wonder why all our court verdicts seem to favor the APC, the ruling party, against the opposition. this trend could potentially harm the country's political process. And also pulling out a comment from earlier today when I was on the newspaper review early this morning, I recall that Musa Bala also commented that when it affects the PDP, people would say the court is not doing right. But when, of course, PDP wins, just like in the case of Bauchi and Adamawa, is it Adamawa or Taraba now?
Yeah, Adamawa, even
Adama, yes, they will say yes. The court is the last hope of the common man. But why is it that
Nasarawa is there as well.
Nasarawa has well been finally
no,
declared?
it was
Yes.
At the tribunal,
Yes, at the tribunal. Yes. Now, these are issues that we need to look at today, and let's really find out if there is any substance in the fact that some are claiming that the APC is trying to turn the country into a one-party state. All right, these basically are the stuff we'll be looking at in the course of today's program, and we want to start off by coming straight to Samuel Yohana to first of all look at the comment coming from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Is there a need for Africa to develop a unique form of democracy that suits it? Because many people have claimed that this Western form of democracy, just as it is Western. How does it resonate with you, and what would you say in respect of this?
Thank you, Mr. Ehis, and thank you, listeners at home. Mr. Ehis, I'm not surprised that this kind of statement is coming out from the former president, knowing fully well the kind of person he is.
No, we don't know. Explain.
Okay, always trying to create activity where there's none. He was the president between 1999 and 2007, and he benefited from this Western democracy. While he held sway as the president of Nigeria, why didn't he complain that the kind of Western democracy we are practicing, and he was spearheading at that time, it's not good for us? He had 8 years to have probably facilitated or initiated constitutional amendment, or see how we can change from Western democracy to whatever he has in mind. Like he said, Afro democracy. Like I said, I'm not surprised. He's somebody that would always want to throw a spin. For him to have said this now, probably there is something he's actually looking at, and let's see how it pans out, because this is what has been in place in the Western world for close to 200 years. Like America has been practicing it for 200 years. You see, there's nothing wrong with that Western democracy. It's the way we are practicing that is faulty. Because if it works in other climes, why shouldn't it work here? You see, the principal actors here, I mean, some of them always want to throw a club in the wind of change. And like I always say, it's work in progress. One day it will be wool. That's my take for now.
Okay. Before I come to Mike Odeh, I would still like to hold you to that the fact that it is working for them, one, and that's the reason why I feel this was necessary, because one, for every democracy, once look at the culture, the tradition, and all of that. Don't forget that democracy, as it is the government of the people.
For the people and by the people.
Yes.
And it's expensive everywhere in the world.
Who are the people? People of particular unique geographical location or environment.
Yes.
So the democracy that works for your people
yes.
may be different from the democracy that works for my people, maybe different from the democracy that works for Mike's people and all of that. Couldn't it be the reason why they are looking for a democracy that will work for the Africans? Maybe. Or keep your thought on that.
Well,
while I come to Mike Odeh.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Ehis, for this very opportunity. I like to differ with you a little bit on Obasanjo. Even our president, our former president, the immediate president, that's Muhammad Buhari, just came up yesterday, said a cabal might have hijacked my administration. And along the line, he also admitted to making mistakes. And he said, I had set out goals, but at the end, I may have not achieved all the goals. And when further asked again, he said, Nigerians are they are difficult to rule. And when he was asked, he said, I do not miss being the president. So every man has the right to self-introspection, to look back and then reflect. So if Obasanjo said, having been the president for 8 years, and then a military head of state for almost 4 years, and this man had actually midwife democracy in all aspects. He was the one that handed over to Shagari, a Yoruba man and a Christian, handing over to a Fulani man, a Northerner, and a Muslim.
A seamless transition.
Seamless transition.
The first time?
For the first time.
And he did it
the second time again.
Meanwhile,
He would have been the president if he had sat down.
Yes.
Just like Buhari wanted Lawan, a Northerner, to succeed him. But he looked at it, he said, no, let it go to a Northerner. Are you getting it?
Of fairness.
So, of course. So if he sat down and said, look, democracy as it is, we have tried the Westminster system of democracy in the 60s. That's the parliament. Then we have not tried the American model a little bit. And probably somebody will tell you to try the French model, where you have the president who is more powerful than the prime minister. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
But in the Westminster, the prime minister is more powerful than the head of state.
Yes.
You understand? So now he is looking at it this way. And when you look at the component of democracy, democracy is actually the constitution in democracy is the highest being in the world district. It controls even the president. The constitution determines whether the president will be in the office or not, as interpreted by the judiciary. But today, what do we have? We have a situation whereby the president becomes the ultimate in Nigeria.
It becomes the Lord
Of the manor.
He is even the one that determines what the judiciary will
So
do.
now, since our powers are derived from the constitution, what I think Obasanjo is trying to say is this: bring a little bit from this part of Africa, from this part of Nigeria, infuse it into the constitution. Bring a little bit, infuse from the north, from the south, from the middle belt, and then let's have our homegrown democracy.
A unique one.
A unique one. After all, the French democracy is a combination of the American and the British.
Yeah.
Are you getting it? We have the Australian democracy. You understand? So we can do that. Now, the problem, like Mr. Yohana rightly said, it is not actually even the democracy in practice. Now, certain African countries are are giving us lessons in democracy. Liberia.
Yeah.
Liberia just conducted an election. And before the result was even out, officially, George Weah knew he was on his way out, and then he considered defeat.
And
now, what actually were the cause of the defeat of George Weah?
Yeah.
You discover that he was a very popular man, but some of the electorate said all this while he was not in the country. You understand? And the promises he had made, he had not fulfilled them. Well, George Weah would say, I built hospitals, but that's not enough. I grew the economy, but unemployment is there. I did a lot of things. But here in Nigeria, we have triple-digit inflation or double-digit inflation that is rising every day. We have insecurity, and you know I'm a conflict reporter. Governor's convoy being attacked. The part of the nation's capital is under siege by bandits. Are you getting it? Rural Nigerians are no more going to farm. Your state, my state, his state, some part are under siege. Bandits are actually taxing Nigerians before they can go to
They are from the parallel government.
You understand?
Collecting taxes.
On governable spaces. Now, and we still have the incumbent party winning the election. Does that not defy odds? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Now, if all today now Nigerians are crying that you, in short, Mr. Ehis, I hardly see people like my friend, Comrade Abdul Baku. Now he uses his bike instead of his cars. I saw one other guy was riding on
A bicycle.
Of course, I wouldn't have to tell you how much I spend every day as of 2 months ago now in the house. Now, if you have an election, this very party today will still win it. Why? Because I used to tell somebody, and somebody, one of the governors also said, look, we take harsh decisions because we know, irrespective of whether it affects Nigerians or not, we shall still return. And our incumbent president, now, when he was campaigning, he said, I will remove fuel subsidy and I know I will win. You get it?
Did he say that?
He said so, yes. He said, I will, please, don't, you can, I am a journalist and you can hold me to it after this and I'll bring it up for you.
Sorry.
He said, look, I will remove fuel subsidy and I have told you my own and I'll still win the election. Are you getting it? So, you see, they will also allude to the fact that Atiku and Obi said we are going to remove. But the fact was, Atiku and Obi said something. Atiku particularly said it is going to be in phases. Are you getting it? So now, the kind of democracy that Nigeria is practicing here, it is way not too good. We are into the politics of identity, politics of regionalism, politics of religion, and politics. We don't really look at the political class, especially, don't look at what is good. So long as they look at it, the Southwest have one of the highest voting population. The Northwest have it, this and that. Let us pick somebody from the Southwest, somebody from the Northwest, and then let's match them together. Whether they are good or not, you don't interrogate them. You understand? Yeah. And that is what I call the politics of identity and regionalism. And that is why we are in this quandary. And that is why Obasanjo is actually saying we need to revisit the kind of democracy we practice. A democracy that should throw up meritocracy instead of, tribal, you know. Now, you see, now what explains this? 8 years of this very administration that passed is a replication of Buhari's administration. Nigeria became the poverty capital of the world. Nigeria became one of the most insecure countries in the world. Number 3 after Afghanistan and then is Syria. And you know, the party is still winning. Why? Because of the cult-like personality and because of the kind of nature of the way we are practicing democracy. Apart from shoving the will of the people, of certain people on top of the other people, it doesn't add sense. So that is what Obasanjo is saying. Let us, if democracy is for Nigerians, it's for Africans, then let us come to terms with the fact that government needs to come to the people and the people needs to dictate what they want through their governments.
I'll come to Samuel Yohana now, and looking at the angle from which Michael the Akatu is coming, and the fact that he is claiming that the reason why we are having this entrenchment of a particular political system is because of the nature of our democracy. But it's really not new. During the PDP era, was it not almost the same thing? Now that we are here, so it is really not an issue of the party involved, but the people practicing the democracy. And I want to also agree with you that we may not absolutely say we need another form, but rather we have the rules set, the laws set, following,
and we go by the rules.
What could be that thing that is stopping us from practicing it the way it should be or going by the rules?
It's our orientation. This orientation of winner takes all.
Yeah.
If I don't get, you shouldn't get. And you see, in this, the electorate also have their own challenges.
Okay.
Reason because this voting along regional and religious
lines
is a serious challenge where you see a candidate might not emerge based on popular demand, might hide under the guise of I am from your tribe, I'm from your region, I'm from your religion, you vote for me, I'll be there to protect your interests. And honestly, any politician you see him hiding under this guise of ethnicity and religion clearly tells you that he will underperform. He doesn't have the capacity. Like Mike said, we should look at this capacity and forget about this mediocrity, because it has put us in this quagmire. This recent elections are happening, some off-season elections are happening in a couple of states. You could see that. I'll pick a particular state from the North Central. Clearly, the voting pattern was on ethnicity, tribal sentiments. If you look at the vote that came from Kogi Central, it came for a particular candidate 95%, in as much as the allegations that some of those results were already prepared before the election. If you go to Kogi West, you could see that a particular candidate got 95% of the vote. It was in Kogi East where the votes were splitted because they had more than 2-3 candidates
of the same tribe.
Yes, and honestly, it was obvious that the incumbent or the ruling party in the state was going to win the election, because you cannot come divided before the election and you want to be united in defeat. And that was what happened to the presidential election in 2023, where the opposition parties came divided. But after the election, we see them now going to address a press conference jointly and now calling themselves to unite. Yes, you cannot be united in defeat. A divided house cannot stand against itself. They came to the election divided. So, Mr. Ehis, we have a long way to go in this democracy we are practicing.
A very long way indeed, and there's a need for every one of us to sit up and look at all of these issues. Whether to accept Obasanjo's angle or not is left to you. The presidency has come out to condemn it, saying that when he was benefiting from it, he didn't complain. You also told the line also. You also told the line also.
You know,
I want to see that as a party position.
Obasanjo is the mirror as it is now of the nation. According to
New Nigeria.
Yes. You see, you know, Obasanjo, a man who had been actively involved in the Project Nigeria since 1966. He fought as a major also in the Civil War.
Yeah.
He was the one that actually accepted the surrender of the Biafrans. Are you getting it? Adekunle had to be removed for Obasanjo to as the commander of the 3rd Marine Commando because of his brutal attitude. And Obasanjo, and Obasanjo took over from Adekunle, brought sanity, and then accepted the defeat of Biafra, and then handed over General Philip Effiong to Gowon. And you can see after the death of Murtala Mohammed, even before that time, when Murtala Mohammed became the head of state, it was a triumvirate. Murtala, Obasanjo, and this guy, and Theophilus Danjuma. And when Murtala was killed, most unfortunate, by some coup plotters, the men in the military zeroed down on T.Y. Danjuma, and T.Y. Danjuma said, no, go for Obasanjo. You understand? And Obasanjo midwife democracy steadily and handed over to whom deserved it. And again, when Babangida wanted to play with the intelligence of Nigerians, Obasanjo came up. Buhari teamed up with him, and Obasanjo said, Babangida is like a bull in a China's way. We have to play and we'll ease him out. The same thing with Yar'Adua, and not Yar'Adua, General Abacha. When General Abacha came in and he was playing with Nigerian democracy, Obasanjo opposed it, and for that Obasanjo was sentenced to life imprisonment, almost dead. Are you getting it? And that was why Providence bestowed on him from prison to presidency. And again, he had always, even this APC today that is in power, if Obasanjo had not tactically supported APC would have not been in power, it would have not come to power.
Yeah,
so Obasanjo has every right to criticize. Of course, Bayononuga is overplaying his hands. Even Tinubu, the boss, went to meet Obasanjo to seek for Obasanjo's support. But Obasanjo said, no, this is time for another region to go. I'll go with Peter Obi. I'm telling you, if Tinubu is going to contest 2020 or whatsoever it is, 28 or 27, he will still go and meet Obasanjo for blessing. Can't take my word for it. So Obasanjo has every right, more than every Nigerian, to actually profile solutions. All right, thank you very much.
Let's quickly look at the second item that you are looking at. Nigeria sliding into a one-party state based on all that is coming from the courts, and we've already got beyond the tribunal stage now. All of the cases you are hearing are basically the appeal court, and some gearing up to go to the Supreme Court.
Well, I have my doubts and my fears about democracy today in Nigeria. You know, Why must electorates suffer in pre-election matters? Are you getting it? Why must the electorate suffer because of the officials, the mistakes of the officials of INEC? Like in the case of Kanu, the man that was removed, the governor of Kanu.
Yeah, Abba Yusuf.
Abba Yusuf. What actually happened? INEC officials did not sign some ballot boxes.
At the tribunal, that was the main thing, but at the appeal, they claimed that he was not even qualified because as far as they are concerned, there was a flawed primaries. That he wasn't a member of the NNPP as at one day. INEC included his name in the
INEC included his name.
Pre-election issues.
These are pre-election issues.
People want to go by the People want to go by the Supreme Court and the case of the presidential election that was brought. You know, the Supreme Court did not even look at it. They said these are pre-election issues.
So I wonder, why should the Supreme Court or the judiciary give you hot tea? At the same time, I just serve Yohana cold tea and then come and give me warm tea.
Yohana, I respond to that.
Yes, you see, in the case of the appeal judgment, see, we're in this game.
Your voice is quite low.
Okay, we're in this game, and I think we have an idea of how this game is played. In the first place, you need to be nominated by a political party. In a situation whereby the primaries are flawed, opponents that lost during the primaries could take up on that and wait till after the general election has been won. In the case of Kanu, for some reason, Abba Yusuf is not on the master list of NNPP.
But he appeared on the ballots that people use the vote.
There could be error. There could be error from the election umpire, where they could claim is an oversight. They could claim is an oversight. Then secondly, politicians normally, when they're in their stronghold, they tend to do some things that go beyond what the eye can see. You see, you cannot rig where you are not popular.
Yeah.
This is my view.
That is a view.
What happened in Kanu probably was NNPP in their stronghold threw caution away and just decide to misbehave and just start from printing and stuffing the ballot boxes.
In the local parliament, they call it, they are just dangling everything.
And it's possible this same thing that happened, it is an NPP member that probably revealed it to their political opponents. And so location, probably there are votes there that were not properly signed and stamped.
Well, let me.
I'll
Yeah, no problem.
So apparently that 165,000 votes came from one particular location, and NNPP have themselves to blame. For the issue of Plateau, there are several Supreme Court judgments that PDP on the Plateau does not have a structure. Reason because the party is fragmented on the Plateau. The faction of Jonah Jang, the former governor, and the faction of retired General J.T. Hussein, where more than one primaries were conducted. And if you remember, during the local council election in Plateau, Plasek told PDP that you don't have a structure, so you cannot contest in this council election. And remember, PDP did not contest that local government election. What happened to the legislators in the Plateau is what is happening to the governor now, where they lost 6 House of Reps members, 2 senators. And the beneficiaries of this very judgment are Labour Party, APC, I think PRP2 is the beneficiary, if I'm not mistaken. The same thing had happened to the governor, but he said, or rather, he has even headed to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, he's already. Three governors are going to Supreme Court.
Okay. Zamfara, I don't think.
Zamfara said it's a temporary setback.
Yeah, but I listened to the address he delivered yesterday that he is ready for a run election. And if you hear somebody talking like that, probably he has already made up his mind to go for the run. And he said he's confident that they will emerge victorious.
Okay.
For the case of Zamfara, you know, that state is bedeviled with insecurity. And Beni Magaji, where one of the local government that rerun will take place, I think it's one of the worst hit by insecurity. Election was not conducted there completely, and that's why they're in this situation. For Bukuyu, they also have insecurity challenges. Maradun, where the former governor came from, I think most of the wards there, elections were not conducted. Oh, elections were conducted, but when it was time to announce the result, the returning officer
was kidnapped.
Well, he was said
to have been kidnapped.
Was said to have been kidnapped. Since me and you, Ehis, were not there to confirm it, were said to have been kidnapped. And when he saw the situation, and he now diplomatically told them, okay, allow me to get to the headquarters. I will announce the results you want me to announce. Apparently, they still were not convinced. So he now communicated with the INEC headquarters, and they told him that if they put you under duress to announce that result, use the one from the IRF and declare the result. That is what he did. But in the Electoral Act, an INEC guideline, you cannot use result from the IRF to announce result. You have to use the one from the field to announce. And which is on that ground that the Court of Appeal annulled.
Let's take some calls now. These phones are buzzing, and we need to open up the phone lines. 0809-799-1989 and 0809-464-6206. And of course, before we start to take the call, this is to let you know if you've been listening to the program and also to Procyon Radio. The next edition of Chopperton is coming up this Friday on the 24th, and it's going to be at the Star House Arena. Star House Arena is at Gwari Avenue by Kempeli Junction. It's going to be at 6 p.m. I'm sure you know how we do our Chopperton. You are definitely going to have fun with that. We'll take our first call now, 009-799-1989. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Good evening, sir. My name is Obadanjo. I'm calling from Canada.
All right, Otumba, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. I greet your friends today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me take on this issue of the presidency, the issue of former president Olusegun Obasanjo. My take is I subscribe to that. There's a way we can do this so that let's look and study the kind of our own environment and look how we can invite it into this democracy of the thing. Why am I saying so? Even the presidential democracy that we say we are practicing, we are not practicing it the way we are. Like the vice president, the lot of vice presidents who are the states and in the presidency, I think if I'm not mistaken, maybe that person is the one that is kind of the people.
Yes.
The government here, but we have deputy governors. These are just one state. But we have everything deputy. At the end of the day, they are not equal to the far. And then until their political officer, says, go and do this. That is what we now see them doing that. But without that, they are just there and making use of Nigerian money. Even deputy Senate president, deputy speaker, all the things are just suggested that we can even look into it and we can, the only way we can do it is to amend the constitution. Without amendment, there's no way we can do this thing. And the so-called legislators, can't we even study our environment and have just one 350 at over 350.
Yeah.
So the only way we can do all these things, we can invest and study the way we are. So that at least we can look at it and say, okay, this is our own democracy. I think the example, the queen is bigger than the prime minister. We have this thing there. So all of these people in state. So these are things that the only way we can do it is I subscribe to what you say. That let us study our own environment and invite it to be a democracy.
All right.
The issue of one party system
Okay.
is not because we do not understand, most of us doesn't understand the constitution and we don't know how. Because anybody that graduates what we call psychology, like in this party, electoral under this party, I will now go to the party.
Food is ready, politicians.
Majority, what you want. After all, they will say they want to align with the central. So I can have this kind of democracy to my constituents, which is a dirty talk. I think you are being elected there to fight for your people. You are being elected there to fight and subscribe and take what belongs to your constituency. Now, if you align with the center, which is, people don't understand it, that we can recall these people back. People if they do, anything like that.
All right.
Unless we understand the electoral act, the constitution, that at least we have the constitutional right to withdraw that person. And the legislators too, if anybody gives your policy, don't allow that person to sit. Let us practice the democracy the way it is.
All right.
Follow the rule of law. If we follow it, honestly, in the street field, that is not because the selfish and other things cannot make us to practice it.
All right. Thank you so very much, Otumba Rufai, for stopping by this evening and adding your voice 009-799-1989. We have our next caller. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero. Hello, we lost that. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero.
Yes, good evening, kids in the house.
Good evening, and welcome. Yes, Kure.
INEC and judiciary, me am of the opinion that they should allow we the common man to be. Let them be selecting whoever they want to put there. I see it's uncalled for. Me, I will go and start for more than 6 to 7 hours that I want to vote. At the end of the day, just 3 or 4 people will just come and take a decision that how many million have used that opportunity to vote, not to decline them from their life. And the issue of Obadanjo is part of the people that got us into this mess that we are passing through. With him, they brought Buhari. And Buhari today, Buhari is telling us that he has done well in terms of security. See, people are still in the bush. And I want to give kudos to Tinubu administration. It seems to me he's still killing these people more than that time of Buhari. If Buhari would have done that, I think by now, will have cleared these guys. Because me, I cannot just understand. Judiciary are forcing people. Are they trying to bring in problem in every state? We can't be one party system. If they want us to be one party system, they should do one common man one. You can't force him. I cannot eat square meal. You want me waiting for you every time. They should not do the needful. We don't ask much. That's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Kure, for stopping by this evening as we pick our next call this evening. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Thank you very much.
All right, Ibrahim from Kabbalah. Yes, yeah, go on.
we are looking for people to do. So, it's all about also. Because why? We should remember, this thing happens to all things, the politics. Why some of us not kind around? Because why? Tomorrow is the part of you. So, nobody should assume mercy of the justice in our court. Because why? We have system of government. Yes, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Judiciary, they are all supposed to interpret the law. Whatever they do is what the law is bringing us to doing that. They just interpret what the law is, what the law is exactly. The legislative, and what they are doing there was the government that is down for them. They want it out. So, all this will bring us to good governance to us. And we want to consider that whoever that lost it, after the end of the law, after the court, all the cyber law, we should just accept it.
All right.
Because Nigeria will want to go forward in the good and fair and process.
All right.
We are taking this right by this year by God. We will continue to put our law, our leaders, and you see, Nigeria. Thank you very much. Let's go and stop the man.
Thank you so very much, Ibrahim for Kabbalah. All right, quickly.
My name is Commentator, one of your Commentator. What I want to clarify is, if it is true that the vote by the country governor, that's Akatu, were not offended, who's supposed to be responsible for this? Because they just came to Invicta here, the program. In fact, I wanted to ask that question. Who then is supposed to be responsible? And why is that at the court, on all the pronouncement of the court, nobody has ever indicted Ehis? Because I believe that if it is true that the ballot people were not done, that means almost all the data of the court, and it's not doing our duty. So that once they are able to explain this to us, we are able to be comfortable and live peacefully. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so very much. As we take our last call this evening, hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, quickly, let's have your take, your name, and where are you calling us from?
We are up to Chief Sebastian from Marabarido.
All right, quickly, Chief.
As regards the election tribunals in Nigeria, and somehow disappointing. And in any case, I suggest that all our elections tribunals should be completed without swearing anybody in, so that we get it right. Hello?
We are listening, quickly.
So that is the preference. Let us conclude about tribunal like Liberia did.
All right.
Then, as regards to the church, everything is talking rules. Because if you are in leadership positions, there will be many things that you will not do during their reign. Then when you come out to that, the chief, so that many experience, that is why they say experience is the best teacher.
All right.
Whatever is talking now, we should consider it. Because the talking then, it will help Nigeria.
All right, Chief Sebastian, let's quickly come to the studio now. We only have 2 minutes to wrap it all up. So I'll start from Mike Odeh Akatu and end it with Samuel Yohana. But just like the comment Gabriel said, in all of this, nobody's holding INEC responsible.
That is what I was
INEC included those names that are from primaries that were not properly done in the ballot. INEC is responsible for not stamping those ballot papers. INEC is is responsible for so many of the infractions, but nobody is saying anything. Don't you think INEC should pay damages to all of these persons? Because INEC ideally made them waste money.
INEC should be punished and not those people. And I'm going to tell you something again, Mr. Ehis. You see, these court judgments will always be looked at suspiciously. So long as the president is always the one appointing or nominating the Chief Justice and others. Again, INEC is also being resident electoral commissioners are appointed by the president. So you have a judiciary, you have an INEC which is appointed, which is people or populated by people that are appointed by the presidency.
And unfortunately, too, some of them have been identified to have been pathetic.
Yes.
So the party that the president is from.
And so that is why we have all these things.
All right. Samuel Yohana.
I don't want to buy into the conspiracy theory that we're sliding towards a one-party state. I don't. You see, democracy strives better when there's a vibrant opposition. So there are some states that the ruling party have lost, and opposition have taken those states. So let's allow the court to do their work. Then in the whole of this, INEC are accomplices in this, honestly, because they need to be, all those INEC staff found wanting should be prosecuted and sent to, just so that it will serve as a deterrent to other INEC, because those ballot boxes could not have been gone into that box and counted at the collation center without the consent of the electoral umpire there. So it's like they were all hand in gloves doing their thing. So, and I feel for the electorates. You can't go there queue for 6-7 hours. At the end of the day, they go to the courtroom, and before you know it, that mandate has been taken and given to another person.
Yeah.
So honestly, we know our democracy is evolving, and honestly, the earlier the better we get it sorted out, so that this kind of judgment going back and forth, these are the kind of things that keep increasing our number of off-season elections because of those judgments.
All right, that's about the size of the program because we are actually out of time. I want to once again remind you that this Friday at 6 p.m., the Procyon Chopathon, this time around in collaboration with Star House Arena, will be doing the Chopathon this time around. So listen to the promo immediately after this program for details of it. I want to appreciate the management and staff of Invicta FM, and of course, the production team for a nice job today. Wisdom Agulana, Nefemi Onibiyo, Samuel Id Doga, Michael Praise, Humphrey Ilore, also, he said Agbon, most importantly, Sarah Agbon, the production lead. My name is Ehis Agbon. My guest today has been Michael Odeh, Akatu, and Samuel Yohana. Until on Friday, when we'll be on again, remember to always plant the tree, water it, and watch it grow. Don't forget to keep shining like the star that you are.
Star House Arena, in collaboration with Procyon Radio and Television, presents Mega Chopathon. The Mega Chopathon is a eating competition where the winners go home with mouth-watering prizes, including star cash prize of 20,000 naira. Date, Friday, 24th November 2023. Venue, Star House Arena, Wari Avenue by Kenfeli Hotel Junction, Baranawa, Kaduna. To qualify, subscribe to Procyon RTV on YouTube and TikTok. Take a screenshot and send to 080-9799-1989. Star House Arena, Wari Avenue. Enjoyment and relaxation equals entertainment.